Let's catch up a little bit on the state of the race and what people actually think, okay, about the state of the race and what might happen depending on how the election goes. Now, I don't mean especially the state of the race in terms of the polling. Like, we can acknowledge it, but you probably already know that things are tight. The most recent New York Times poll has Donald Trump up nationally by 1. That thus far, I have not seen a lot of other polls that show that same thing, but sure, it's probably pretty tight. And when you look at the swing states, those are tight too. Basically, all of them within a point or two. Maybe Harris is up by 3 in Wisconsin or something, but they're all pretty tight. Okay, that's all interesting, but that changes. Okay, and it could very well change after today's debate. But here is the polling that you need to keep in mind as we cruise towards election day. When it comes to buying the results of the election, accepting the results of the election, what do Republicans think and who do Republicans trust? Well, here is the level of trust that different groups have on different outlets reporting on the election. So Republicans overwhelmingly 70% trust Donald Trump and his campaign on providing accurate information about the election, which right there is the most insane result in a poll ever. He has done nothing but lie about elections since he came down that escalator, but they trust him, okay? So that's fine. They trust him, you'll notice, because he's the red dot there, more trust as you go towards the right. They trust him more than literally anyone else, including local TV news, the actual official government certification of elections, local newspapers, any of the cable news networks, including Fox News, by the way, any of the non-political or non-partisan TV news networks, all of it. They even believe him more than AI, which is probably on the good side. So why does that matter? Well, it matters on the one hand because he's a massive liar, but also because coupled with the trust that they have in Donald Trump is a willingness to do unspeakable things to benefit Donald Trump. So Donald Trump is already telling them that the election is going to be fraudulent. He does it in every interview, he does it at every rally. What are they willing to do this time? Well, it turns out they're willing to do stuff pretty similar to what they were willing to do and did last time.
Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
So there's this new study from the Public Religion Research Institute, the PRRI. And according to that, 27% of Republicans and 32% of MAGA Republicans agree that, quote, patriots may have to resort to violence in order to save our country. There are some independents, 10%, and some Democrats that say the same. And I don't like seeing 10 or 8 for either of those groups, but they are far and away lower than the Republicans, let alone the MAGA Republicans on that number. MAGA Republicans are almost 4 times as likely to say yes than Democrats. And so 67% of Republicans as well scored high on an authoritarian scale. That's not shocking. 3/4 of MAGA Republicans are more favorable towards authoritarianism than democracy, are favorable towards a strong man, the rule of law being contingent on what the strong man says about it. And on political violence specifically, 24% of Republicans and 27% of Trump favoring Republicans say that if the 2024 presidential election is compromised by voter fraud, everyday Americans will need to ensure that the rightful leader takes office, even if it requires taking violent actions. And again, there are some independents and some Democrats that say the same thing, but it's less than 1/2 or 1/3 of the Republican numbers. Now, when you put all of those poll results together, the equation is not difficult to figure out. Will Donald Trump say that the election is stolen? Yes, he's already saying that. He said that about every election. He's said that about elections that he's won. Will they trust him when he says that? Yes, they've already told you. It doesn't matter what the government says, doesn't matter what other Republicans say, doesn't matter what Fox News says, they will trust him. And they believe, a significant percentage believe, that violence is perfectly justified because he will be the rightful leader. So we know that this is the backup plan. We know that Donald Trump is not shy about sending a mob to do his bidding. And if it comes to that, I mean, I don't know what 27% of Trump favoring Republicans is, but it's tens of millions of voters are willing to take up arms, to use violence to achieve their ends. And so all of this is consequential, but not just on the vote. It's why I'm trying to prepare people that, yes, you have to talk to people, you have to donate, you have to organize, you have to make calls, you have to knock on doors, you have to do all of that, because the first necessary line that we have to cross is she has to win. She has to win the popular vote. She has to win the Electoral College. But even when that happens, we're not done. We're still a solid couple of months away from the certification and the inauguration, and God only knows what chaos we'll experience between those 2 points. And so many Republicans, people you know in your everyday life, are already saying they're willing to be part of that chaos. And I only hope that people in positions of authority are taking it seriously and will be ready for it when it comes, because we're definitely moving towards that. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.